Revealed, how 1 billion incredible hearts in Africa could transform the world for the better. Maya stared at her computer screen, the flickering light of her laptop illuminating the tired lines on her face. She had just finished her shift at the diner, where she served greasy fries and coffee to a stream of late-night customers. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, breath catching in her throat as she read the email again. An invitation to a global youth summit, an opportunity that could change her life and the lives of her children, Jamal and Layla. The words pulsed through her like a heartbeat. But how? Her heart ached as memories of Jamal's struggles tugged at her. His grades? Slipping. His laughter? Fading. And Layla, only 7, bore responsibilities that no child should carry. She should be playing with dolls, not worrying about when the next meal would be. "Mom, are you coming home soon?" Layla's voice echoed in her mind, and it twisted like a knife. Critics whispered behind her back, people wondered if she was chasing dreams instead of providing for her family. How could she leave now? But the fire ignited inside her. This summit could be a path to brighter days. Maya envisioned Jamal in a better school. She saw Layla flourish. What if she could showcase the resilience of her community, the hard-working people who came together in times of need? She felt the weight of her dreams, and it felt lighter than ever. As she boarded the plane, her heart raced. The skyline of Detroit shrunk beneath her, and with it, her fears morphed into a beautiful tapestry of hopes and dreams. She would stand before captives, not just as a single mother from a struggling neighborhood, but as a voice for change, a testament to resilience. And deep down, Maya believed her story mattered. When she finally stood in front of the crowd, her palms slick with sweat, she felt the heat of anticipation. The audience leaned in as she poured her heart out. "We're all products of our environment. But let me tell you, the people of Detroit are not just survivors, we are fighters." Her voice rang with passion, emotions unraveling in the room. Tears fell. Maya could see her message reaching hearts beyond borders, but just as her dreams began to materialize, a cultural misunderstanding erupted. The community project she envisioned met fierce resistance from delegates, prejudice rippled through the crowd. It felt like ice water splashed on her warm resolve. What if all this was for nothing? Maya wrestled with despair. She thought of Jamal's worried face, the expectations woven in his silence. Could she truly forge connections needed for change? When those faces blinked into her mind, Layla, smiling, Jamal, determined, she felt a pulse of recognition. This was more than ambition. It was family, love, duty. Just then, a video call illuminated her phone. Their faces glowed with admiration and concern. They were waiting for her return. "What will you bring back, Mom?" their eyes seemed to ask. Would it be a message of defeat? Or would she seize this moment for triumph? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The summit was quickly becoming a battleground of ideals. Could they rise above this discord? Maya felt the clock ticking, her heart racing. She was not just advocating for herself, she represented her community, her children, the very essence of their dreams. With a deep breath, she prepared to confront the tension head-on. This was her moment, her last chance to redefine their family's future. What would she choose when the world was watching? Maya stood firm, feeling the weight of 100 eyes resting on her. The murmurs swirled around the room, some were skeptical, others hopeful. Each person held a piece of the puzzle that made her mission vital. She took another deep breath, focusing on the one truth she carried in her heart. She had come to be a voice for not just her children, but for every child in her community. "Listen," she started, her voice steady, I know many of you may not understand us. It's easy to dismiss what seems unfamiliar. But let me share a story. Silence enveloped the crowd as they leaned in, curiosity piqued. Just last week, I watched my son, Jamal, struggle to keep his grades up. He's fighting every day against a system that seems rigged. But that same week, I saw him help a neighbor's kid with homework, his smile lighting up the hallway. He finds joy in giving back, even when he has so little himself. That's the spirit of my community. That's what we need to uplift, not stifle. The delegates shifted, crossing arms, some nodding slowly. Maya felt a flicker of connection, a small crack in the wall of doubt. She continued, "We aren't asking for handouts, we're asking for understanding. We want to contribute. We want to thrive. Our children deserve that chance." A woman in the front row, dressed in a sharp suit, raised her hand. "But how can we ensure this project doesn't isolate or further burden other communities?" The question was valid, but it hit Maya like ice against her skin. She hadn't fully considered how to address everyone's concerns. "I understand the fear of alienation," she replied, her voice calm yet urgent. "But what if we use this project to unite? To show how collaboration can uplift every neighborhood? We can share resources, ideas, and support each other. Together, we can build bridges instead of walls." The crowd began to murmur again, a mixture of anxiety and intrigue. The woman nodded, her demeanor softening. That could work," she said softly, pondering the possibilities. Maya's heart soared at the small breakthrough. For the first time, it felt like she could see light breaking through the storm. She pressed on, each word laced with the hope of all those she spoke for. "Imagine a network of communities working hand in hand, empowering the next generation instead of leaving them behind. Imagine that power when we share our incredible hearts." As she spoke, Maya noticed quiet tears forming in some eyes. She felt her own swell with emotion. This was about real people, real stories, and the connection that could spark transformation. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, it was over. The delegates had questions and concerns, but also hope. As she closed, Maya felt lighter, but the weight of the world still rested on her shoulders. What would their final decision be? Before heading to a debriefing session, Maya stepped outside for a moment of clarity. The warm sun kissed her skin, and she pulled out her phone to check for messages from Jamal and Layla. They were waiting for news, eagerly expecting their mom to bring back a piece of hope. But what if she failed? What if the resistance was too strong to break through? She tucked the phone safely in her pocket and closed her eyes, envisioning the world she wanted for her children, a world that didn't seem so dreamlike. And then she murmured a silent prayer. As she turned back towards the conference hall with renewed determination, she felt a different energy in her chest. The journey was far from over, and the next steps might be the toughest test yet. What would happen next? Would they choose to partner with her on this journey, or walk away? Maya stepped inside, ready to face whatever came next, because deep down, she knew the fight was worth every second. Would her community finally get the recognition it deserved? She was about to find out. Inside the conference hall, the atmosphere felt charged. Delegates stood in small clusters, discussing. The murmurs had turned into animated conversations, and Maya's heart raced as she joined the fray. She had opened a door, a fragile one, but it was a start. "Actually, Maya, I think you're onto something," said the woman from before, the one in the sharp suit. Her name was Rachel, and Maya felt an unexpected ally blossoming in her. "I mean, why shouldn't we explore a model of collaboration? If we can serve as a blueprint, it could benefit everyone involved." Maya's pulse quickened. Layers of anxiety began to peel away. Exactly. It's about creating a symbiotic relationship. Resources shared, ideas exchanged. We can help uplift our community while enriching others too. But what resources exactly? another delegate interjected, his face a mix of skepticism and curiosity. We all face our own issues. What makes yours different? Connection, Maya replied, the word ringing out before her mind caught up. Our community knows struggle, but we also know resilience. We thrive on connection. We turn adversity into strength, and that kind of resource is invaluable. The crowd seemed to soften against her words, but she still sensed the underlying current of doubt. What could a community like hers offer? It was a valid question, and Maya felt the pressure to prevent any setbacks. She needed every ounce of courage within her. Let me tell you another story, she began, looking around the room to make sure she held everyone's attention. A few months ago, we had an after-school program where we brought kids together from different neighborhoods. At first, there were clenched fists and guarded smiles. But do you know what happened? They created a mural together, a beautiful, intricate work that told their stories. A few delegates leaned in, intrigue painted on their faces. They painted flowers and sunrises, symbols of hope. And when the mural was unveiled, do you know what they did? They hugged. A ripple of laughter erupted from the audience, but Maya could see the connection forming a flicker of understanding. This mural became a beacon. Families started sharing food, sharing experiences. We began to see that no matter the zip code, we all wanted the same thing, brighter futures for our children. People love art, Rachel chimed in, her eyes shining. Maybe starting with a community art program could be a tangible step. Something everyone could get behind. A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Maya felt a knot in her stomach loosen. This was the energy she hoped for, a sense of unity building among them. And then, suddenly, a voice broke through the growing enthusiasm. A young man at the back stood up, visibly agitated. But art isn't going to change systems? What about education policies? What about funding? The room fell silent, tension hanging thick in the air. Maya felt her heart sink, the fear that gripped her before creeping back in. But this was not the time to waver. You're right, she asserted, her voice steadying. Real change requires addressing policies and funding. But transformation starts in the community. The roots grow deep where they are tended to. Let's lift each other up and build a foundation strong enough to demand those changes. The young man's brow furrowed, but for the first time, Maya felt she had gained his attention rather than lost it. One by one, people began to add their voices to the conversation, hesitant but hopeful. Each contribution, no matter how small, shifted the focus from division to collaboration. As the ideas flowed and the dialogue evolved, Maya felt alive. It was a slow burn, but the flicker of light she had sought felt tangible now. Yet, in her heart, she knew that this was just the beginning. As the session came to a close, Rachel approached her. We need a strategy, something concrete to present. Will you work with me? Maya nodded, but worry trickled into her mind. What if their enthusiasm faded before they could act? What if the system was too ingrained to change? Absolutely, she replied, her voice filled with both determination and concern. They walked together out of the hall, side by side. Yet in that moment of solidarity, Maya realized the hardest part was yet to come. Would their combined efforts truly make a difference? Would the community find its voice among the chaos? As the sun slipped beneath the horizon, Maya took a deep breath and readied herself for the trials ahead. This was only the beginning of a monumental fight. But in that quiet moment of reflection, something stirred in her heart, a whisper of hope, the promise of a battle worth facing. What strategies would they uncover together to turn dreams into reality? Maya walked alongside Rachel, the bustling sounds of the conference hall fading behind them. The flickering lights from the outside mingled with the dusky twilight, giving the world an ethereal glow. As they stepped into the cool evening air, a mix of excitement and anxiety swirled within her. What do we need to focus on first? Rachel asked, glancing at her with determination. Maya took a deep breath, her mind racing with thoughts. We need to establish our core values. We're not just advocating for art or community programs, we're speaking for a vision of how people can connect and uplift each other. Rachel nodded. I like that. It's about more than programs, it's about heart. Heart. The word resonated with Maya. It was the very essence of her community, the boundless spirit that dwelled within every child, every mother, every elder. As they walked, other delegates streamed out of the hall, some engaged in heated discussions, others looking reflective. They all floated around like pieces of a puzzle, and Maya felt an urgency to bring them together. Let us set up a follow-up meeting tomorrow evening, Maya suggested. We can start building the framework while everyone is still energized from today. Good idea, Rachel replied. But we also need to define what collaboration looks like. We can't leave it open-ended. People need to know what they're signing up for. Maya's heart raced as she envisioned people coming together, citizens of different backgrounds pooling resources and ideas, united under a common goal. Yes. We need a manifesto or a mission statement, something that can anchor our vision. Rachel grinned. Let us put together a draft. If we can present something tangible, it'll draw in more support. People love to feel part of a cause. The energy between them snapped into focus. Maya felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, but this time it didn't feel heavy. It felt empowering. As they settled into a nearby cafe, Maya's thoughts drifted back to the children who had painted that mural, their faces glowing with pride, their laughter ringing like music. If we can harness that same enthusiasm for change, we'll have a real movement on our hands, she said, pulling out her laptop to note their ideas. Rachel nodded fervently. We also need to acknowledge the fears going around. People worry about time, resources, and commitment. Right. We need to show them how small contributions can lead to monumental changes. If we can set up a platform for dialogue, where everyone feels heard and valued, it'll create ownership. Just then, a loud crash echoed from outside, pulling their attention. A street performer had toppled his guitar case, spilling coins everywhere. Maya's heart leapt at the sight, a community gathering around the musician, helping him gather the scattered change, illuminating how even a small act can spark camaraderie in an instant. See? Rachel smiled, glancing at Maya. That's the essence we want to capture. Community, togetherness, and support. Exactly. Maya replied. The connection between art, music, and shared experiences was paramount. If they could see the larger picture, they would understand the true potential of what they were trying to create. As they polished their draft, Maya felt a sense of hope beginning to solidify. They sat for hours, lost in their collaboration, creating a document that resonated with warmth and possibility, but amidst the excitement, a shadow loomed in her mind. What if they faced pushback? What if old structures resisted their plans? When Rachel finally asked, "Are we ready to show this to the group?" Maya hesitated. She wanted to leap forward but felt the weight of the upcoming confrontation. Can we truly hold this together? She pondered aloud. Absolutely, Rachel encouraged. It's going to be scary, but that's what makes it worth fighting for. As they finalized their draft, a flicker of resolve ignited in Maya's heart. They were about to step into uncharted territory. Together. But in the depths of her thoughts, a new question whispered, would their united front withstand the forces that stood against transformation? The sun dipped completely beneath the horizon, leaving a blanket of stars shimmering above, hinting that the darkness could indeed give way to light. Tomorrow, they would enter the fray again. Would they rise to the challenge, or would that fragile hope shatter before their eyes? Maya's heart raced as the morning sun filtered through her window. The warm light seemed to amplify her hope, but it was hard to shake the lingering shadows of doubt from last night. She tossed aside the covers, her mind filled with the faces of the children from the mural, beaming with pride and potential. They deserved to see their dreams take flight. She quickly dressed, mentally rehearsing what she would say when they presented their manifesto. Would it resonate? Would it inspire? She grabbed her notes and felt the familiar flutter of anxiety as she headed out the door. Rachel was waiting for her at the cafe, a tower of coffee cups stacked before her, steam curling in the air. Ready to change the world? Rachel beamed, her enthusiasm infectious. Maya nodded, but a nervous smile betrayed her. Let us do this. They made their way back to the conference hall, where the energy buzzed like electricity, delegates milling about, chatter rising and falling like waves. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settling on her shoulders again. What if they don't see it? She whispered to Rachel, who was busy scanning the crowd. They will, Rachel assured her, her eyes sparkling. Remember that moment last night? This is our chance to spark a light. Right, Maya said, steeling herself. As they entered the meeting room, delegates began to filter in. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she set up the projector, the screen looming larger than life. She glanced at Rachel, who nodded encouragingly. After a few minutes, the room quieted down. Maya and Rachel stood side by side, the draft of their manifesto displayed behind them. She took a deep breath and began. Thank you all for being here. We've seen the power of our community, a power that lies in our connections. Together, we've envisioned a collaborative effort that transcends our individual missions. As she spoke, she let the energy of the crowd sweep over her, gathering strength from their attentive faces. Each sentence felt like a heartbeat, resonating with unspoken dreams and hopes. One by one, she introduced the core values: inclusivity, creativity, and resilience. The room slowly came alive with murmurs of agreement. Maya's chest swelled with cautious optimism. Then, she sensed a shift. A group of delegates at the back began whispering among themselves, their brows furrowed. Maya's stomach dropped as she caught snippets of their conversation. What if we lose control? One muttered, and another added, this sounds too idealistic. Maya's resolve faltered, but Rachel stepped forward smoothly, addressing the doubts before Maya could feel overwhelmed. We're not seeking to control but to empower. Change requires vulnerability, and every one of us holds unique strengths that contribute to our community. Rachel's voice was firm yet warm, like a beacon in the fog. A figure at the front stood, scrutinizing them. What about the resources and time commitment this demands? We're already stretched thin. His eyes were piercing, a challenge wrapped in concern. Maya's heart raced. They had prepared for questions, but this felt like a direct attack. She took a step closer to the edge of the stage, confident yet nervous. Every small act binds us. Contributions don't solely mean money, they mean time, skills, and heart. The words landed with a collective sigh. People shuffled in their seats, absorbing the idea. Together, we can gather what we need. We will create a platform that supports every voice. Her voice rose, fueled by the energy around her. Let us storm those barriers together. As she looked around, urgency sparked in their eyes. A few nods, some hesitant smiles. But just as hope began to blossom, the skeptical delegate spoke again. And if it fails? What happens then? Maya paused. The question hung heavy in the air, and doubt threatened to creep in again. But in that moment, she remembered the children, the laughter, the street performer gathering his coins. Community was fragile but resilient. A whisper of strength rose within her. Then we learn. We adapt, and we build stronger. Every setback is an opportunity. Together, we'll navigate through the uncertainty. A murmur of contemplation swept through the crowd. As the session progressed, more voices chimed in, some enthusiastic, others still wary, but it was a discussion alive, breathing, evolving. They were starting to see the potential, each person a piece of the puzzle, connecting little by little. But when the meeting ended, Maya couldn't shake the feeling of unfinished business. The terrain felt rough, yet humming with possibility. ready for more debate, and she sensed that this journey had only just begun. Maya glanced at Rachel, who looked as if she had just faced a storm head-on. "How do we keep the momentum?" she asked, the question lingering. Rachel leaned in closer, her voice a whisper almost filled with exhilaration. "By confronting fears and inspiring connection. But it means we'll need to engage those skeptics. They're not impossible, just apprehensive." Maya's heart pounded with both dread and excitement. How would they reach those who resisted? The challenge loomed before her, igniting a fierce determination. "Tomorrow, we push further," Maya declared, feeling that flicker of hope reignite. They would fight for every dream, every voice, no matter how heavy the weight felt. As they gathered their things and stepped out into the bustling hallway again, Maya couldn't shake the sensation that this was merely the tip of the iceberg. Something was brewing beneath the surface, and it felt monumental. Would their efforts bridge the gap, or would they ignite even deeper divides? The next morning felt charged with possibility. Maya woke before dawn, the golden light creeping through her window like a soft reminder of the dreams yet to be realized. She rolled over, her mind already racing with ideas and strategies. The stakes felt higher now, each decision laden with the weight of hope and apprehension. Wrapping herself in a warm sweater, she made her way to the cafe again, a ritual that felt comforting amidst the uncertainty. The familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air as she entered. Rachel was already there, her laptop open and fingers flying across the keyboard. She looked up, her face lighting up. "There you are. I've been thinking of new ways to approach the skeptics. I found some great talking points." Maya smiled, feeling the tension in her shoulders ease a touch. "Let us hear them." Rachel leaned in, her excitement palpable. "What if we framed it as a partnership? Not just a manifesto, but a way for everyone to share in the success. We can make it less about control and more about shared benefits. We need to show them what's in it for them." Maya nodded, feeling the spark of inspiration dance between them. This was the kind of connection they needed to foster within that room yesterday. "Yes. We need to make it personal. Show them stories, actual examples of community strength, like the mural. Kids can lead the charge." As they brainstormed, Maya's mind drifted to the mural again, the children smiling, eyes wide with possibility. Their dreams were tied to this mission, and she felt a pressing need to share that art with the delegates. It could be the emotional anchor that turned skeptics into allies. However, deep inside, doubts stirred. What if it still doesn't work? What if they don't see the value right away? She wondered, her heart slipping into a rhythm of anxious anticipation. Rachel sensed her hesitation. "It's not about everyone seeing it perfectly today. It's about planting the seed. We give them the tools to see, and then we let them explore. We can't control how they react. We can only hope to inspire." Maya leaned back, soaking in Rachel's words. There was wisdom in letting go, in trusting the process. Moments later, her phone buzzed, breaking her thoughts. It was a message from a delegate who had been skeptical, the one who challenged them the hardest. "Can we talk?" It read simply. Maya's pulse quickened. "Uh-oh," Rachel said, eyes wide with curiosity. "That's either a good sign or a bad one." "Just a conversation," Maya replied, trying to sound casual. But her heart raced with uncertainty. She texted back a quick agreement, setting the stage for what could become a breakthrough or a setback. After wrapping up at the cafe, Maya and Rachel headed to the conference hall, where the air buzzed with chatter and anticipation. This time, however, the energy felt different. People were more engaged, their eyes sharper with curiosity. As they entered the hall, Maya spotted familiar faces of those who had questioned them. What if today they bore witness to a different understanding? After a few discussions, Maya felt ready. Their new approach was unfolding beautifully. She positioned herself at the front, drawing in the audience with that familiar warmth. "This is more than just a project," she began. This is an opportunity for each of us to contribute our strengths. We will not merely survive as individuals, but thrive as a community. As her voice wove through the gathered group, she could feel that undercurrent of excitement returning. She shared the story of a young boy in the mural, how he picked up a brush full of hope, and turned it into a pathway of dreams, but as focus shifted and conversations grew, Maya's phone buzzed again. A new message from the skeptical delegate: "I'm here. Where should we meet?" A wave of adrenaline surged through her. This was at the moment she both dreaded and anticipated. How would this conversation unfold? What truths would emerge? Rachel shot her a knowing glance. "You got this. Just be honest. Show them what you believe in." Maya nodded, drawing strength from her friend. As she prepared to speak with the delegate, she felt a swell of acceptance. It was time to step deeper into the uncharted. With determination echoing in her heart, she replied to the message, "Meet at the mural?" And as she turned back to the crowd, a question loomed large in her mind: would this meeting change everything, or would it push her even further into the unknown? Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle over her like a thick blanket. She stepped away from the vibrant buzz of the conference hall, heading towards the mural. Each step felt heavier than the last, uncertainty drumming a nervous rhythm in her mind. What if all the discussions, all the passion, all the hope were for nothing? The mural greeted her with bright colors and the joyful faces of the children. It felt like an embrace, as if the artwork was holding her tight, reminding her of why she was here. Every stroke of paint told a story, and she wanted to ensure it would echo in the delegate's heart. As she approached, she spotted the delegate standing off to the side, his arms crossed, brows furrowed, clearly deep in thought. He was a stark contrast to the cheerful expressions around him. Maya's throat tightened. Could she get through to him? She cleared her voice, stepping into his line of sight. "Thank you for coming," she said, trying to project confidence despite her quivering heart. "I hope this place can help you see what we're trying to accomplish." He glanced at her, then back at the mural. "You really believe this will make a difference?" he said, skepticism lacing his words. "I know it will. Look at the faces. These kids are bursting with dreams. They are the voice of our community," she replied passionately, gesturing towards the mural. "They deserve the chance to have their stories told and their potential unlocked." He studied her for a moment, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "You think a painting can change minds? You think art can solve our biggest problems?" Maya locked eyes with him, holding nothing back. "Art is a bridge between us. It shows our humanity, our shared struggles. If we can connect on that level, we can find solutions together." She paused, feeling the gravity of her words. "What if we create something beautiful that resonates with everyone? A project that they can take pride in, that they can own? That worth believing in?" The delegate's expression softened, a hint of curiosity breaking through his armor. He took a step closer to the mural, his fingers trailing along the painted edges. "I don't know. What if we work on this together? I can't promise it'll be easy, but I can promise it'll be worth it," Maya urged, her voice steady, holding on to the hope igniting within her. He turned back to her, eyebrows raised, caught off guard. "And if it fails? Then we learn. We adapt. We try again. But if we do nothing, we risk losing everything," she replied, her heart now pounding with conviction. She watched as he considered her words. A moment stretched between them, the air thick with possibilities. A group of children approached the mural behind them, laughing and pointing, and suddenly, the weight of their dreams flooded back into the conversation. "All right, let us talk," the delegate said at last, his tone shifting. Maya felt a rush of relief but also a surge of determination. This was a chance to build something transformative, a ripple effect beginning to churn in the still waters of uncertainty. As they sat on a nearby bench, Maya felt herself opening up, sharing personal stories of the community, of the kids, and of her own journey. She saw the delegate's eyes soften as he listened, the skepticism beginning to crack. But just as she began to see a glimmer of hope, the crowd at the conference hall erupted into an uproar. Shouts echoed, and people gathered around a speaker who appeared to be unveiling an unexpected announcement. "What is going on?" Maya murmured, uneasily glancing over. The delegate's eyes darted toward the commotion. "This could change everything," he said, an edge of urgency in his voice. Maya's heart raced. Was this announcement a threat to everything they had been working towards? Or could it be the very breakthrough they needed? "Let us go find out," she urged, their moment cut short, but her spirit still ablaze with hope. What awaited them could redefine their mission entirely, whether it solidified their bond or put everything at risk. Together, they surged toward the crowd, every heartbeat echoing with potential. This was a turning point. But would it lead them closer to their dream, or unravel the fragile thread they had just begun to weave? As Maya and the delegate pushed through the swirling crowd, the air around them crackled with excitement. The speaker stood on a raised platform, a bright light illuminating their face, making them look almost larger than life. The buzz of voices grew louder, an electric hum that tugged at Maya's emotions. Each step forward felt as if they were on the cusp of a monumental change. Curiosity danced inside her, but an unsettling worry kept creeping in. What if this announcement overshadowed their plans? Would it push her and the delegate back into darkness, snuffing out the flame of possibility they had just kindled? "We need to hear this," the delegate said, his voice firm yet hopeful as they finally broke free from the huddle of bodies. They found a spot near the front, just a few feet from the speaker. The atmosphere buzzed, faces turned toward the podium, eyes wide with anticipation. The speaker began to speak, their voice booming with enthusiasm. "Ladies and gentlemen, today, I bring you news that could change the fabric of our world. A groundbreaking initiative aimed at harnessing the ideas and creativity of 1 billion incredible hearts across Africa." The crowd erupted into cheers, and Maya felt her heart race in rhythm with their joy. But as the speaker continued, the details began to unfold. "This initiative will empower youth through technology, innovation, and art. Imagine a coalition of vibrant voices from every corner, sharing dreams and building a better future." Maya turned to the delegate, excitement mingling with a hint of dread. "This could actually amplify what we're trying to do," she whispered. "But do they see the local impact? Can they direct that energy to communities like ours?" The delegate frowned, his eyes narrowing as he processed the implications. "It depends. Will this initiative listen to those voices or merely drown them out in the larger narrative? We need to ensure that our community isn't lost in the shuffle." Maya felt a wave of determination wash over her. This could be a chance to align their dreams with a larger vision. "We need to connect with this movement to be part of it, not just spectators," she urged, her voice bubbling with conviction. The speaker continued, "This initiative is more than just a project, it's a revolution. Your voices matter. We encourage every individual to join us in this journey." Maya reached for the delegate's arm. "If we get involved, we can ensure our kids and our message aren't just a footnote in someone else's story. They deserve to shine." In that moment, she saw a flicker of something in the delegate's eyes, a glimpse of shared purpose igniting between them. "All right," he replied decisively. "Let us find a way to plug into this. We need to make our voices part of this bigger narrative." Just as they turned to leave, a thick tension filled the air, and the energy shifted unexpectedly. Another speaker emerged, someone with a striking presence, a powerful demeanor that commanded attention. Without warning, Maya felt a knot tighten in her stomach as she realized they were about to hear potential opposition to the very dream they had just dared to envision. "Hear me out. While empowerment holds promise, it can also unsettle. What if this initiative becomes just another means for outside powers to dictate our futures?" He challenged, his tone cutting through the optimism. Maya's breath caught in her throat. Doubt began to creep in. Was there a risk of losing everything they had fought for, everything she had painted on the mural, questions hung heavily in the air. Would they become part of the solution or the problem? Could they navigate this chaotic sea of voices and still keep their own dreams alive? Maya grasped the delegate's hand tightly, feeling the pulse of their newfound resolve against the tide of uncertainty. We can't let fear hold us back. This is our moment to act. Would they rise in unity to secure their place in this unfolding narrative, or would they be swept away by the very forces they sought to combat? The answers lay just ahead, as they braced for the unfolding drama. The air pulsed with tension as Maya and the delegate exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. The weight of the opposing speaker's words spiraled around them, mingling doubt with determination. What had felt like an inviting wave of possibility now threatened to smash them against the rocks of reality. Maya looked at the delegate, her heart beating faster. What if he's right? She asked, her voice trembling slightly. She hated feeling unsure. What if this turns into another power play? The delegate sighed, his eyes scanning the crowd, where some faces showed enthusiasm, while others mirrored her apprehension. We can't ignore that fear. But abandoning our hopes won't protect us either. It's about how we engage with the movement. As the second speaker continued, his skepticism weighed heavily on the audience. We have been promised change before, only to find ourselves on the sidelines, listening while others dictate our lives. He exclaimed. The man's voice resonated with some, inspiring nods and murmured agreement, but Maya felt it rip through her like a jagged knife. She thought of the children in her community, the dreams that danced in their hearts. This isn't just any initiative, she said fiercely. It's supposed to be about us. If we let fear take over, we're surrendering control. The delegate placed a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. Remember why we're here. We're not just hoping for change, we're ready to make it. But we need a plan. Maya's chest tightened. The calls for unity and action surged through her. Let us draft a message. We can connect with the coalition and present our vision, a vibrant community where everyone's voice matters. We have something to contribute. A realization began blooming. The initiative could be a lifeline, not just a threat. Maya's mind raced. What if we build a bridge to ensure our stories are woven into this larger narrative? We can't just be fuel for their fire, we can spark our own. The delegate nodded, encouragement glimmering in his eyes. Exactly. We need partners who understand the value of our local context. As hope began to shimmer again, the second speaker wrapped up his contentious address. If we allow ourselves to be swept up, changes may lead to devastation for our souls and our communities. Maya bit her lip, nerves creeping back as murmurs rippled through the audience. A feeling of urgency struck her. The time to act was now. Let us find a way to connect with the youth in our community, she suggested, her voice gaining strength. We can mobilize them, share our vision, and galvanize support that matches the energy of this initiative. The delegate agreed, determination radiating from him. We'll organize a meeting. Reach out to artists, thinkers, and dreamers. Let us ensure our voices not only join the chorus but ring true with the power of our stories. With a sense of purpose igniting within them, they stepped away from the chaos, weaving through the crowd to scout out potential allies. Each face they passed held a myriad of hopes and fears, but Maya focused on the fire smoldering in her belly. Their next steps were crucial. But unbeknownst to them, there were eyes in the crowd. Not everyone embraced the idea of change. And lurking in the shadows was a group that might just sabotage their efforts before they even had a chance to begin. As they reached the edge of the gathering, Maya felt a tingle of anticipation. Would they reclaim their story and push forward? Or would unseen forces conspire against them, turning their dreams into shadows once again? She glanced back over her shoulder, heart racing. They were ready to fight for their place in this unfolding narrative, but at what cost? Maya stood tall, the morning sun spilling warmth on her skin. It felt like a promise of new beginnings and unbreakable strength. Today was the day they would stand united. After the charged discussion at the conference hall, the plan was set. They would gather community voices and combine them with the energy of the new initiative. They would shape a future together. Rachel was by her side, her excitement radiating. "This is it, Maya. We have a chance to unleash the power of every heart and story." With a deep breath, Maya nodded. Each step towards the gathering place felt heavy with potential. She thought of Jamal and Layla, how much they believed in her. She felt a surge of love and responsibility. Their future was intertwined with the dreams they chased today. As they arrived at the open community center, the sight brought a rush of joy. Families were assembling, children laughing, and the vibrant mural they'd painted together stood guard over them with unwavering pride. It whispered of hope and connection. Maya spoke first, her voice pulsing through the crowd. "Thank you all for being here. We want to make sure our stories aren't just part of someone else's vision. We want to be at the forefront." Gasps of surprise mixed with nods as the energy shifted. Eyes brightened. She could see it, the spark igniting in their hearts. Rachel stepped up next, enthusiasm sparkling. "We're being given a chance to peer into a bigger world. To share our art, our voices, and create something that uplifts everyone together." As the words flowed, an energy built. Maya saw neighbors nodding, families exchanging glances, and a shared understanding starting to bloom. They were collectively dreaming, amplifying one another's hopes, but the anxiety still loomed over them. There were whispers of fear in faces scattered throughout the crowd, the same skepticism that had clouded the conference hall. And then it happened. A shadow broke through the group, ambushing the light. A familiar face, someone from the hall, stepped forward. "What makes you think we can trust this initiative?" The voice was sharp and filled with doubt, rippling through the collective anticipation like a chill. Maya's heart quickened. She recognized the voice of resistance. Uncertainty began to swirl, but she took a breath, steeling herself. Change can be overwhelming. But folks, let us not forget, what if we become part of a narrative that gives us a seat at the table? We need to share our stories, our talents. Together, we can shape the future we want. A murmur flowed through the crowd, tension hanging like mist. Rachel didn't skip a beat. "We're not looking for someone to hand us something. We're asking to collaborate. To build bridges that will make us stronger as a collective." She gestured to the mural, the colors alive beneath sunlight. "This can be our foundation." With that, Maya and Rachel invited everyone to share their thoughts and feelings. One by one, voices arose from the crowd, each sharing hopes tainted by fears, possibilities shadowed by doubts. And as each story unfolded, the atmosphere changed. The stunning moment came when a young girl stood, holding a paintbrush like a beacon. "I painted those flowers," she exclaimed, her eyes wide with pride. "And they showed me that even if my voice is tiny, it matters." A ripple of emotions flowed. Gasps, laughter, tears. Connection stitched itself through the crowd with each shared experience. The magic of their community began to shine brighter than ever. By the end of the gathering, Maya felt weightless. They had formed a pact of unity, visions blending into one shared dream. She beamed at Rachel, who had tears in her eyes. "It worked," Rachel whispered, or radiating from her. "They're inspired. And this is only the start." They had ignited a collective flame, a movement beyond their imagination. And as they packed up, the air buzzed with plans and momentum, each face reflecting hope. But even amid triumph, shadows lingered. They knew challenges lay ahead, but now they stood arm in arm, prepared to face whatever storm approached. Maya would not falter. For Jamal, for Layla, for every heart that echoed across Detroit. "Together, we rise," she murmured. "Together, we shine." And this time, they truly believed it. Before the celebration concluded, Maya made one last call to action. "Let us carry this momentum into the world. Share our journey, tell our story." Tearfully committed, they clasped hands, a palpable energy binding them. Afterwards, as Maya looked at her children, their radiant smiles and pure spirits, she felt warmth spread in her heart. The journey was just beginning, but their resolve was firm. This was their consequence of change. And as they emerged into the sunlight, she whispered to herself, "From small hearts to a billion incredible voices, watch what we will create." The world was listening. Don't wait another second. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive story that could change lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the message. Comment below with your feelings about this gripping ending. We want to hear from you. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to feel this spark of transformation. You need to show your support, and together, let us ignite the world.